If last week, the fierce four-legged supervillain left audiences with jaws dropped and eyes wide open, episode 6 seems to be aimed at making us wince, with some scenes too intense to watch fully. From introducing a superhero with spider-like abilities and incredible web-slinging skills to revealing the hardcore hobbies of billionaire detective Tek Knight. We also learn more about Joe Kessler and a virus that could potentially take down Homelander. So, what's new and exciting in the latest episode of The Boys? Let's dive in and find out. After being exposed by Firecracker in episode 4, Starlight is showing signs of losing her powers. However, this isn't the first time we've seen her unable to use her superpowers. In episode 5, when facing off against a group of aggressive monkeys, Starlight couldn't support her teammates either. This situation draws an interesting parallel to the Spider-Man movies, where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man struggled to shoot webs at will. Much like Spider-Man, torn between living as the superhero or as the ordinary Peter Parker, our female superhero is facing a severe identity crisis. She is forced to choose between being Starlight, the leader of the yellow-clad force and a saint in the eyes of fans, or being Annie, as she desires. As Starlight, she is a symbol, a revered figure. However, Firecracker's speech has completely shattered her clean image. On the other hand, as Annie, she is simply a person with powers who dares to stand up against injustice, but cannot lead or create significant influence within the community. As the impending battle approaches, Starlight becomes increasingly confused and conflicted. However, she's not the only one facing psychological issues. Just as we predicted, Joe Kessler was nothing more than an illusion created by Butcher, similar to Becca. If Becca represents the good that remains within Butcher, then Kessler embodies the evil, or more precisely, the violence and deep-seated desires within him. Like a parasite living inside Butcher, Kessler's persona grows stronger and tends to seize control of the consciousness of the leader of the boys. Some fans have even remarked that the decaying head Butcher brought to Dr. Samir for experimentation symbolizes his brain being damaged by Compound V. Moreover, it serves as a metaphor for the battle between his good and evil personas, vying for control of his mind. This inner conflict reaches a climax when Dr. Samir reveals that the virus capable of killing Homelander will also mutate, making it airborne. Typically, it spreads through bodily fluids like blood, saliva, and semen, but airborne transmission would lead to widespread death among all superhumans. Thankfully, this horrifying revelation snaps Butcher back to reality a bit, as many of his loved ones, like Ryan, Starlight, and Kimiko, could be in danger if such a catastrophe occurred. This highlights the true essence of The Boys. It's not just a story about overthrowing superheroes or criticizing society, but a tale of individual identity crises where each choice leads to a completely different outcome. For Homelander, it's a struggle between being accepted and worshipped or being seen as a freak. A-Train battles with who he truly wants to become. Starlight is torn between self-interest and the collective good. Kimiko has fought since season 1 to understand that she is not a monster or a weapon for others to exploit. Mem grapples with OCD, Huey learns to balance personal life and family, Newman stands between seizing ultimate power or doing the right thing morally. And finally, Frenchie is caught between living in the guilt of his past or accepting it as part of who he is. A billionaire who lost both parents at a young age, raised by an elderly butler, sounds familiar, right? But I'm not talking about Batman, I'm talking about Tek Knight, often compared to Sherlock Holmes in the superhero world. However, it's clear Tek Knight draws inspiration from Gotham's Caped Crusader, as he has Tek Cave, a secret base much like the Bat Cave. The difference is, Tek Knight's lair isn't filled with advanced technology, GPS trackers, submarines, or jets, but rather a place for indulging his extreme sexual desires. The book, The 120 Days of Sodom, serving as the key to the secret entrance of Tek Cave, is an incredibly intriguing Easter egg. For those who don't know, this book depicts days of pursuing carnal pleasure through the debauched parties of 4 French men. In 1975, it was adapted into a horror film called Salo, or The 120 Days of Sodom by director Pier Paolo Pasolini. Additionally, Tek Knight has an assistant chained in a corner of the room. At this point, the setup is quite familiar, so I won't elaborate further because today's highlight is Huey, who is masquerading as Web Weaver. This is a major jab at both DC and Marvel, turning two of their most beloved superheroes into something incredibly bizarre. On one side, we have a billionaire with extreme sexual proclivities, and on the other, we have a spider-themed hero with insanely impressive web-slinging skills, whose room is intricately webbed, reminiscent of a scene from Spider-Man. Interestingly, although this is Webweaver's official debut, he has been subtly introduced throughout the previous 5 seasons. If you look closely, you'll see Ryan playing a video game that features the character Webweaver. Moreover, this context helps us better understand certain lines from Butcher and MM.
Not a word about that 50 grand and what happened to it, the Mallory motherfucker.
Straight up Webweaver's stinky spider. Heroin enemas don't come cheap, my son.
If Mallory knew that MM used $50,000 to buy Rohypnol, a potent sedative that paralyzes the central nervous system, and then accidentally injected it into Webweaver's web-shooting mechanism, she would probably faint from shock. But it doesn't stop there. Webweaver's safe word, used to signal others to stop torturing him, is Zendaya. If you're familiar with the MCU's Spider-Man, you know Zendaya played MJ. It's hard to imagine how she might feel watching episode 6 of The Boys with this reference. After his unsuccessful attempt to buddy up with Homelander, Tek Knight started bragging about his wealthy background to A-Train and Firecracker. He told A-Train that his family originally hunted black slaves, which is quite ironic since he had previously told Huey that he owned an original copy of Uncle Tom's Cabin, a famous anti-slavery novel. This contradiction seemed to mock A-Train. Tek Knight also boasted to Firecracker about his family's wealth lasting 11 generations, subtly looking down on her poverty, making her feel awkward and uncomfortable. As some foreign fans commented, this detail highlights the injustice and inequality in society, where the rich inherit vast fortunes across generations, while working-class people like Firecracker have no chance of becoming wealthy, no matter how hard they work. However, the real reason Homelander and Sister Sage recruited Tek Knight is because his family owns many private prisons. This allows the Seven or Vought to easily suppress, arrest, and make their opponents disappear. Who knows, maybe students like Jordan, Marie, Andre, and Emma from Gen V are also trapped in Tek Knight's family prison system. In reality, Tek Knight's party is a meeting place for the heads of massive corporations, who, according to Sister Sage, control up to 38% of the US GDP. Coupled with Newman's speech, this exposes the true face of the economy and society. The balance is becoming severely skewed as 1% of the world's population holds most of the nation's wealth. Moreover, they consider the general populace merely as labor tools, generating enormous profits for megacorporations like Apple, Exxon, and Berkshire Hathaway. Under the guise of social goals and economic development, these giants operate almost entirely free of regulations or constraints. Naturally, Homelander is oblivious to this reality. This marks the second time he has appeared confused, embarrassed, and awkward when confronted with such significant issues. Since taking over the reins at Vought, he has been spun around like a top, and as Stan Edgar once said, he is just a child, lacking an understanding of how the world truly operates. It's no wonder that Homelander's eyes gleamed with envy as he watched Newman after her speech concluded. Throughout all 4 seasons, the most evident trait in Homelander is his insatiable desire for recognition and adoration. However, deep down, he is still haunted by the image of a mother figure, and Firecracker has provided him with that. It's clear that this action has helped Firecracker achieve 2 significant things. Firstly, she has gained Homelander's complete trust. After numerous rejections, being dismissed, and even used as a tool by Sister Sage to rally the community against Starlight, which nearly cost her life, Firecracker has now become an indispensable piece of Homelander's puzzle. Secondly, she has changed her destiny, moving from poverty to becoming a symbol for the people. Besides being appointed as the new anchor for VNN News, she also boasts a personal account with millions of followers. This is a major step forward, erasing the insecurity we witnessed earlier when she interacted with wealthy individuals like Tek Knight. It essentially boils down to the fact that rallying financial support and gaining public endorsement helped Newman ascend to governmental power, whether through eliminating Robert Singer or other means, as stepping stones to overturning the superhero management laws. This opens the way for Homelander's supreme leadership over a superpowered army under Vought's control, beyond just political figures. Vought is gradually perfecting its own army. However, some individuals with powers are showing tendencies to switch sides in the upcoming conflict. A notable example is A-Train, who saved MM's life and is re-evaluating his desire to do good. In a moment of frustration, Newman imagines her head exploding, symbolizing a critical turning point. It sparks hope that she might return to support the boys. Most importantly, Sister Sage, who has frustrated Homelander by embarrassing him in front of the entire audience, is a complex character. She's intelligent enough to see the true nature of the conflict, but her craving for supreme power clouds her original intentions. However, when Sister Sage reveals her desire to personally rectify social injustice, it suggests a theory that she might be the next to leave the Seven and align with the boys. Who knows? Perhaps Homelander's hostility will push her to switch sides in the upcoming episodes. In this scene, the signboard labeled Vought Fresh Farms asserts that the Vought Corporation is infiltrating every aspect of American life. From entertainment, media, healthcare, national security, to even food and pharmaceuticals, Vought is leaving no stone unturned in its pursuit of profit. Other details, such as the tension around the U.S. abortion ban legislation, are also referenced when the man on the street confronts Starlight. However, the biggest surprise comes from the unmasking of Black Noir, who is revealed to be actor Nathan Mitchell, reprising his role from Season 1. Whether Black Noir's unmasking will impact the story's future developments, and if he will undergo a transformation like many other Vought superheroes, remains to be seen. We may have to wait until next week for answers. And that wraps up everything I found most exciting and noteworthy in Episode 6. Will Butcher continue to pressure Dr. Samir to develop the virus or find another way to take down Homelander? How will Firecracker's relationship with the superhero unfold? How many more surprises are in store for us ahead? Let's wait for the next episode to discuss further. Lastly, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel to get the latest videos on the boys. Bye bye.